Hello, everybody. I trust I'm still on. I think I'm on live right now. Welcome, everybody to Behind the Veil right here. My head is in the way. The Veil. This is going to be an absolutely wonderful night. I'm Stephen Williams. They call me the Good Bishop, and I am completely excited for the opportunity to be with you tonight as we go behind the veil and have some great dialogue. It is going to be so much fun. I have two people on here. Lord Jesus, please help me now, even now, Lord. Even me, Lord, even me. Boy, I can't wait. They didn't already showing out in the beginning of this whole vibe. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. Listen, I need you to get your questions ready. If you've ever wanted to ask a man or not a father, if you've ever wanted to ask a father any questions, how they felt, I got two brothers tonight that you're going to be able to ask whatever questions you want to ask them and shoot them. We got one of them. He ain't scared of none of y'all. He wants you to send all the questions to him. Just go ahead. Two of us, we ain't saying nothing, but we're going to turn all our questions we gonna turn our questions over to one of the ones who's doing his thing. And so tonight we are extremely excited. Y'all know how we do it. Stephen Williams here. Welcome to Behind the Veil. Point it, tell everybody, put everybody on the docket that it's time. It's Behind the Veil time. And this is tonight the pressures and the problems that fathers face and what we think about, what's going on. When we get silent, this is what we be thinking about. These two people right here are going to tell you what they thinking about, what most men be thinking about when we sitting in the corner thinking we watching the game, but our team is losing. And so we thinking about Monday morning and Friday night, whatever it is, honey. We thinking about when the next bill going to be paid. Listen, y'all know how we do it. I play a song of the week. This week, I'm going to play one of the songs that that it didn't make the project, y'all. Okay. It's a good song, but it didn't make the project. It's going to be on the next one. But it ain't, I wanted to hear it tonight. But what I need you to do is continue to share the Good Ground Project. Send that out to your friends and your neighbors and all that good stuff. And go purchase it, download it, and listen to it. Get it. Listen, it was in Canada a couple of weeks ago. It was in Washington, D.C. last week, and they planned it. And I'm like, what the world? So I might become a real famous one day. I'll still be here on Tuesdays, though, Behind the Veil. I don't care what they're doing. I'll be right here on Tuesdays. I ain't going nowhere. And I'll be there on Wednesdays, and I'll be on Sundays. So I'll have to sing on Thursdays and Fridays, but I got to go to work on Friday. So I ain't going to be able to sing too far on Thursday. I ain't gonna be able to sing too far unless you fly me in so I can get a PTO day on Friday. Listen, it's gonna be so much fun. Tonight is going to be good. This is a song I call Mighty God, and I just wanted to hear it with my tonight. And this is how it is. And this is all me. Mighty God, mighty, 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 yeah. It didn't even make the CD, but this is hot. Didn't even make the CD. It's going on the next one. I tell you, he's a mighty, 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 what a mighty God, mighty, 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 nobody like that God, mighty, hey, my sister, Bruce, stand back. Thank you, man, for hanging out. Robin. Satisfies the soul. Oh, oh. He makes the grass to grow, put clouds in the sky. Oh, oh. It's not the light to serve it. Here's the reason why. on down the way. Whatever you spoke of me will certainly come my way. It's coming my way. It's a strength for us to see our brand new day. Donna, this is how we used to do it. That's all I'm gonna say. Hey, Jay. Trouble hits my space. Oh, I'm supposed to have on my shirt tonight. Said I'm gonna seek his face. He's my everything. Praise him is my way. Praise him is my way. Praise the Lord. Angels will join. Angels will join in. Praise the Lord. He causes us to win every time. Praise the Lord. He gives us victory. Said I got the victory. The Lord we serve is mighty. Mighty. Ain't that something right there? Sanchez, that's old school right there. Listen, I got to put out a wonderful plug. A couple of weeks ago, we had a fabulous thing. I was supposed to wear my shirt. They sent me a shirt, and this is called the Selah Sisters Ministry, Selah Sis Ministries. And I'm telling you, those ladies, Jade is on here. I'm giving a shout out to them. Y'all go back to one of the podcasts, and it was 4 beautiful ladies and talking about the power of the silent moment. I was supposed to have on, they sent me a Selah bruh shirt. I'm gonna have to wear that for Bible study tomorrow. So everybody have a silent moment, Selah bruh. And so I'm throwing out a shot to you guys right now. Serenity, Jade, I forgot Mama, Day, and Tammy. And it was just y'all are just so absolutely. Go and support them and check them out on Instagram. Follow them. It's called Selah, SELIALAH, Sis. All right, Selah Sis. They are absolutely powerful. Now tonight is going to be a wonderful, 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 wonderful night. I got it like wonderful 15,000 times because I got 2 brothers who I love dearly. And I've been knowing them for a long time. One of them, we're going to talk about it. My first guest, he is this is how I got his thing. He is the pastor of FFOM, Firm Foundation Outreach Ministry in Kernersville, North Carolina. And he is from Winston-Salem. I think he was born and bred and raised up in this piece. He has been married for 20 years to Donna Hines Minor. Now he is the father of 4 children, and his is particularly interesting because he comes from a blended family, if you will. He was married, and so he had 2 children from a previous marriage. He gets married, and the woman that he marries has a daughter, and then they come together. They come together, and they have a son. They know each other, and they have a son. And he's in college now. I think that's the one. That's the last one out. He's in college, and so he is just now. I didn't get where he works, but he worked. He got a job. He makes some money. We don't just pastor. We are bivocational. Amen. We make sure we don't just live off the church only. Amen. We work jobs. Hallelujah. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. That's a whole nother session for a whole nother day. All right. And he's here in the city in Winston. And then my second guest is an absolute nut. But I love him to life. I have been knowing him forever and a day. He is Sanchez, what I call the general. Drake. I mean, he's just been my general on the ball field, and when we talk and when we fellowship, he has questions and we do it. He is from Winston-Salem. He's 45 years of age. He's been married for 20 years. I don't know how old Pastor Minor is. You have to tell us when you get on. I know you're older than 45. You better be, in Jesus' name. Hallelujah. Amen. He is married to Renata, and he is the proud father of 3 kids, a 14-year-old girl, 11-year-old boy, and an 8-year-old boy. So he has 2 sons and a daughter who's the oldest at 14. And he works at Reynolds America, aka RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company. He is the youngest out of 3 siblings with Steve and Stephanie. I know them. I've been over their house and ate up their food, and their mama and their daddy. I've been over there and ate up everybody's food. That's fam. Now listen to what he talking about. I love God and I am a Dallas Cowboy fan for life. What the world? That's what he want to put in his thing. Bring them in. These are my brothers in Jesus' name. Hallelujah.
Isn't that an oxymoron to love God and a dad?
Hey, look at him. Look at him now. Look at him now. You gonna respect my team. You gonna respect my team.
This is going to be.
I'll give him that.
Thank you all so much for joining me tonight on Behind the Veil. Thank you guys, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
I'm happy to be here with you, my brother. I am happy to be with you.
Yes, sir.
This is going to be a wonderful, wonderful night. And this is the month. Lord, miss you on here talking about Cowboys Nation. Let's go.
Let's stay on task. Let me start out.
There you go, Mr. Goldsmith. See, Goldsmith knows.
Texan fan, and I want to say to all of the Cowboy fans, we're the best team in Texas. Y'all just have a bigger TV.
Now, you just became relevant because you got Julio Jones.
We'll leave it at that, dude.
Listen. This is so much fun tonight, and we're going to talk about when I asked these are the pleasures and the pressures of fatherhood. What happens is that a lot of people really don't ask us and don't get into the thought process of men as it pertains to being fathers. It's one thing for us to be a man. That in and of itself is a pressure. But when you throw in being a father, that's a whole nother thing. And so, ladies and even other gentlemen, if you have questions out there, I want you to prepare your hearts and ask these questions. And we're going to have fun. Oh, and my scenario is from my first marriage, I had a son. And then I waited 15 years before in my second marriage, I had a daughter. So I'm sitting on both of them with different kinds of pressures, and pressures when I was younger, like in my 20s, is different than when I was in my 40s. But we're going to talk about all of that. All right. So please post. All right. I'm starting with us tonight. All right. I'll start with Pastor Minor since he might be the eldest. So.
Yeah, can you hear me well, Bishop?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good deal. Good. Yeah, I remember Sanchez when he was a little crumb snatcher running around in the neighborhood. So yeah, I'm 54 years old. 54 years old.
Good. So Pastor Minor, what was it like? And I know at the time you were married, but what was it like? And this is how we're going to start this off. What was your thought when you in your first child? Tell me, what was that thought? Because you had a boy,
right? And
so what was that in your mind in that whole scenario of being able to say, "I got a boy"? What am I doing now? What was that like? Can you go back that far?
Starting out. When I first got word, that my wife was pregnant, my first words were that intelligent question that men ask: how did that happen? So that's what it was. And recognizing after that, there was I immediately for me I for me I immediately started on the move because I was shortly at getting home from the Navy, and I was getting my place, and my mom. All of my brothers, we had a large family, but all of my brothers were gone. There was nobody there but my mom. And she wanted me to just be there with her for a while. And so I said, okay, mom. And then, so I was married, my wife there. We stayed there for a while. And then, when I say a while, a short while. But my brother, a new one was coming home. So I bought a house. And I had bought my house and going there. And I was beginning to think, for me, I hit the lottery. I have a boy, so the name will go on. And so my next thing I was thinking is, well, okay, I'll go again. If I have a girl, it's all well. If not, well, it's okay. I have a boy. So that's the way I was thinking more so with it. But immediately my thought went to, I really went outside of myself and constantly thinking, provision, provision, provision. I do not want to be a failure. And I looked at all of the things that were um, that, if you would, my father lacked and said, I would not be in any way, form, or fashion that problem. I won't have that problem there. So I learned a lot from my dad. Trust me, he was much there in my life, but some of the things that he lacked, I want to make sure that I didn't have those same tendencies or issues. So to me, it was exciting. It was scary. It was all of this, a gamut of emotions all at one time. And so for me, I'm just thinking, okay, let's get forward. Let's move. Let's move. Let's move. But I will say this: from the time that they put him in my arms, everything changed. Everything. I knew then, and I'm not exaggerating, I would die and would not even think about it for my son. And that's just what I felt at it.
That's good stuff. Sanchez, how did you
Yes,
feel?
sir.
Because you have this daughter, and she's 14 now. But so take
Yeah.
me back to that moment, because you have a different kind of viewpoint. Because your first one is a girl, and I don't know how you feel.
Right.
My girl is like, she got me like completely wrapped. So, but we'll talk about that later. So how did you feel, man, going into that moment? How old were you at that time, Sanchez, when you had your daughter? Do- How old were you?
I was 30 years old.
30. Okay. Okay. All right. And Pastor Manna, how old were you?
25.
25. Okay. I was like 27, 27, 28. All right. So Sanchez, tell me about that. Tell me about that moment, man. What was going through your mind when you have your baby girl?
But I wanted a girl for the firstborn. Reason being because I wanted to get to build a relationship with with my daughter, to show her and to strengthen her of the upcomings and the of the things that's gonna go or gonna come to her during her growth. So I was like, I'd rather have a daughter first, so she can have that father and daughter relationship where she can talk to me at any time. I mean, because my daughter, she's she's very educational. She's very smart, and I mean, she when she came to me actually with her first boy problem, and it took everything in me. It took everything in me to not snap. I was like, okay, God, okay, hold on. You got to help me with this answer because I don't want to push her away. You feel what I'm saying?
Right, right, right.
And so he gave me the right proper response. And me and my daughter got a relationship can't nobody break. I mean, she can come to me with anything, and what I give her, she accepts, and what she give me, I understand. But I give her my response. So I wanted a daughter for the first baby, and it worked. It seemed to work out perfectly because she's have helped my other two sons as far as schooling during this COVID 19, and she's helped them with their homework and continue to have a straight A academic grade level. So I mean, I think I got the best out of the best with my daughter because she's helped me when I thought I was like, okay, how are my boys gonna manage through this COVID thing? And she's helped me more than any other adult can because she know the lingo that this new age teaching is. You feel what
Right.
I'm saying? Because
Right.
our old lingo, I'm like, you bring this to me, I'm like, I'm showing you the old school way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Right.
she know the new school way, and she's helped them. And both of my boys have passed to their next grade. So how can I be mad when I ask God? See, this is the thing. When you ask God for something, it's gotta come. Something good gotta come out of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I did, and that's what's happened.
When I when uh, I had two separate scenarios. When Jordan is born, Kaya says that I left her. She's because I went directly to the church, and I was so happy that she had this we had this baby. She said I left her in the hospital. She said and I went straight to the church. And back then, we used to have those little. They wasn't cigars, but they were like little candy cigars. And
Yeah,
The
so,
little
the
small
bubble gum, the
things.
bubble gum, the
Yeah,
bubble
yeah,
gum.
yeah.
and
Yeah, they was small.
since I was since I was saved and stuff like that, I found some long ones, and I went straight to the church. Everybody was at the church, and I was like, "Hey, I got a boy. I got a boy." She don't let me live it down to this day. Talking about I left her. She talking about you left me right. I, I went to go celebrate, but it was so much. I had so much trepidation because I'm like Minor. In my mind, the first thing I'm thinking about is I've got to figure out how to um, take care of
Mhm,
this child.
mhm,
The first
Right,
thing that
right,
happens in my brain is I've got to make sure and certain that I have provision. And it's not like that with all fathers.
right.
right,
First
right,
and foremost, amen. That's the
And I
truth.
right,
told
That's
you
the
right.
that
truth. That's the truth.
because I know you guys have stayed through the process. And there are some fathers who, and I'm look, there are three things that makes me angry. I don't like nobody to beat on no child. I don't like
Okay.
nobody to beat on a woman. I don't think you need to do either one of those things. And I got an issue with fatherless fathers.
Oh man. Oh man. Let's see.
I'm with you.
Oh, I
I'm
mean,
with you.
and to hear them with the excuses that they come up with. I mean, you see, it's amazing to me when you see some of these men. Because of the business that my wife and I had, I was able to, sit in court at times and be able to see things, and to see men down there arguing with a judge because they have to pay $15 a week, and
Right,
you're sitting here like, are you $15 a week? And so, so you sit and you look. To me, a deadbeat, there's no excuse. I think more so, many of the men, it comes to a situation of you're selfish.
yeah,
These same men that cannot give a dime, regardless of what you and that woman went through. You can't give anything to this woman, but you're going to have on $100 and some odd pair of sneakers, or you're going to be you you're constantly tight as can be as you see him. You, as my son would say today, you dripped out, and you're sitting and you're looking at this like, are you serious? But if they say, well, I ain't giving her my money, $20. Well, I pay my child support $20. That's
right.
it, chief. So
Dude,
so I'm with you on that, bitch. It's
yeah.
a frustrating thing to me to see a man that will not step up. But unfortunately, we have a
We
lot
have
of
a
we have
yeah,
a lot of grown boys as
yeah.
opposed to adult males.
Yeah. And this whole notion, like my second child, I did not want any more children. I did not. And so I was married Lady Hope under that premise, right? So under that premise, she said
Yeah,
she
the
Wait a
plan worked
minute
well.
now. Wait a
Your plan worked
no,
well.
no. She said she didn't want no children. I didn't want no children because Jordan Sanchez was about like 14, 15. By the
Yeah, I
time
remember that. I
I'm
remember
like, man,
that.
I don't want no more babies, man. I ain't anybody want no baby. I'm almost finished. Like, I mean,
Wh- What's
3
the word?
years.
Bishop,
He
what's the word when you want to give God a good joke? Give him your plans.
right.
So
Give him your plan. And
Yeah.
and so she ends up pregnant. And my response, I ain't have no response, no good response with her or Kaya. With her, I was like, well, I guess your life is getting ready to change because I know she was used to the finer things. And I knew having a child
Right.
meant responsibilities.
hmm
It
Yeah.
meant
Yeah.
sacrifice, but it also, again, here's that pressure that
hmm
I felt all over
over again,
again.
again, starting from
I-
scratch.
and I'm thinking
But
I'm getting out of that, but man, I was going back into it. And so my mind was back into like you, Sanchez. I'm like, oh, I've got to make sure now that they have whatever knowledge I had.
yes. Yes.
Here is this pressure. To me, it felt like pressure that I
Right.
needed to make sure I didn't mess up. I was there, I
Right.
was focused. And so you guys, so with your blended family, Dr. Miner, with your blended family, how was it when now you have these two boys and then you get married and now you have this daughter? Did that change? And Sanchez, we're going to talk about that in a
Right.
minute because
Okay.
you have a daughter being a dude, and
Right.
I know, and you were a dude, right?
Yeah.
All of us, well, Robert was saved since he was 2, but me and you, Sanchez,
I wasn't saved.
we wasn't,
I was
we were.
saved, but I was to a certain extent.
I ain't even gonna lie to you. I wasn't even saved. I wasn't no saved.
I had people praying for me.
But Dr. Donovan, he been saved since he was like 5. So I,
Yeah, so I see that. I see
So,
that.
yeah, he Holy Ghost filled. Fire back.
but to your question for me, of course, the first thing you want as once you get that boy, it's like as far as baby wise, there's no pressure on me because if I don't get a girl, I really want one. But if I don't get one, okay,
Okay,
you have that boy, the lineage, that name goes on.
right.
Um, but for me, and I often tell people, God had to marry me and give me a girl because I guess my makeup is just not in my boy. My second son, boy, and when Donna and I had a baby, boy. So the boy was there, but I thank God because able to bring him up. But when my daughter, she was, of course, when she came into our lives, into my life, I've known her all of her life. As a matter of fact, it's so funny because my oldest son and her, they're the same age. And so when people ask me how many kids you have, and I say 4, and what are the ages? And I give them the age and say, you have twins? No, it's one of the his, hers, ours. And so when she came into my life, she's at this time, she's some 6 years old. And so, to look at, I didn't have that pleasure of being able to hold her and pick her up. And the thing is, I have to learn her because you're in an era, she's some size and to age. And so there's a lot of things I got to get used to. There's a girl now in the house, in that, a little girl. So you got to be careful with these things. You got to be
Yeah,
very careful there. So I lost that experience. I never had it. I never had that experience to be able, as a child, up each and every last one of my kids from birth. You was excited when Jordan first got here, and you ran and everybody gave everybody the bubblegum cigars. But for me, my children, I wanted to. I was so thankful to God for every last one of my children that the day they were born, I did not even. I requested that nobody touch them until I was able to anoint them and consecrate them and give them to God. And that's just what it was. It wasn't nothing. So I was just so thankful to God. And so I did. So the hospital obliged me and they gave me a room right there. A room right there where I was able to, I went into a room And I was telling you what I did. I just stripped and I anointed my son and I lifted him up and just said, Lord, I just thank you. And from childhood up now, I was not able to do that. That was from birth. From once the doctors cleaned him up and everything and gave him to me, that's what took place until, Donnice, I was not able to do that. I wasn't able to do that.
So Sanchez, you then have a boy on the second go round. Now, because I
Yeah.
want to go back, I want to talk about this. Is there this pressure, this undue pressure, if you will, to have this boy? Because Minor has said this twice. I got this boy, I got this lineage. Is that
Mhm.
something that you were thinking about, even going into your second child, or being able, and then you find out it's a boy? Is there a certain relief that you say, "Whoo, I have this lineage"? You know what I'm saying? Is that something that you were thinking about as well? Because I think that's something programmed into us. If you can um, get the child,
Yeah, I
you,
mean, it, when I found out that it was a boy, and we had discussed that we was gonna name. I wasn't gonna name him after me before, but I was like, you know what? This is my son, so let me, because this could be my only son. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what the next child would be if we have one? So I was like, no, let me name him Sanchez Drake Jr. Now, being that I've named him that, I have no regrets, because here's the thing: he's just like me. I mean, as far as the smile, the laughter, you know what I'm saying? Even though all my children have different qualities of their own, of me and my wife, is that I see more in him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not. It's a man's. It just is inside of a man that they want to name a son behind them. That, you know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, I got a son, so let me name him Sanchez Drake.
Renata said all day. You hear me? She
Yeah,
she
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's that boy. I mean, cause who know, like don't nobody know what they're gonna have until they have it, or until they say this is what you're having.
right, right.
But when I actually found out it was a boy, here's the true story. I'm tired. I get off work. I'm working third shift. I get off work, and my wife was like, I gotta go to the lady, you know what I'm saying, to see what's going on so they can check my stomach and all this stuff. So I go, and then they were like, it's a boy. My wife looking at me like, you ain't happy. I'm like, first of
I'm
all, I'm
sleeping.
tired.
I'm
I mean, I'm
sleeping.
being honest with you. I was tired in a month. When I say I'm tired, we work third shift. Anybody work third shift, they know
Yes.
they tired,
Yes,
bro.
I'm
You know
telling
what I'm
you. Yeah.
saying?
Got you.
So, but I thought about it. I was like, she was like, well, I'm gonna name him such such. I said, well, no. But what we did was we gave him my first name and my last name, and we split both our grandparents. I mean, her grandparent and my dad name in the middle.
Got you.
So you know what I'm saying. So he's still a part of me. I don't care what nobody say. He's still Sanchez Drake Jr. At the end of the day, he's still me. And I love his spirit. I love the way he is. It's like, I don't know if you had a child, and when you realize how you used to act back then, how
Yeah.
you was open hearted and giving. See, back then in our days, it wasn't no shooting. It was all about, you finish it with the fist, and then the next day y'all good. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
see, now this day and age, it's all about somebody getting shot or whatever. But he got both of those qualities. He can, instead of you wanting to fight him, he gonna make you laugh like I do. I don't
Right.
want you to fight me, but I'm gonna make you laugh. But at the end of the day, don't take me for a softy. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on.
I'm not weak with these. You know what I'm saying?
See, he
And,
already
and
trying.
he, exactly, and he's not weak with them. But the thing about it is, when I had my second son, I wanted him to be after me. You feel what I'm saying? I
Right.
want him to be a part of me because I don't know if I was gonna have another daughter or another son.
Right.
But right then and there, I was like, no, let me go ahead and name him after me because I want my name to live on. You feel what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Now, not taking away from women, you feel what I'm saying? Because I know their name wants to go on too, as far as the young ladies. But you hardly hear about that. You know what I mean?
Right. 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 Right.
But as far as a man, yeah, he gonna be Sanchez Drake Jr. And he when I say my son is me, he's me.
Listen, Kaya didn't. Kaya said she wasn't naming nobody Stephen
she
Will.
was she didn't give you a chance, man.
Doc didn't even give me a chance. You
Listen,
said,
Bishop, my son, the name that I wanted to name my baby boy, I lost his name. I lost him to a bowl of rice.
You lost it to a what?
I lost him to a bowl of rice. A bowl of rice. Because the
I
name that I
can't
had,
take this no more. I can't take it. I can't take
the name that I had, Mama did not want it. I didn't want Robert. I didn't want Robert. My dad, Robert. I was Robert. I didn't want Robert. So, with that said, the name that I had for him, I thought it was a cool name. I liked it. And to this day, he said he'll tell mom, "You should have let dad name me that. That would have been the coolest name in the world playing basketball." But she said, "Listen, what can
Now
I do to have you to change his name?" I said, "Well, no, I want to keep his name what it is." And she said, "Well, just no, I don't want that. So what are we gonna do?" I said, "Okay, just if you fix me some rice, then we'll have it." And she fixed some rice, and therefore that's how he became Stephen.
all right, Esau, you just gave it up. Just gave it up.
the Esau.
Wait. Now you know we got to ask, what was the name?
Fortunato.
Exactly.
Huh?
Fortunato.
Fortunato. Thank God for the rice. Thank God for the rice.
Yeah, Lord,
And,
thank you.
and the
Thank God for
Italian,
the rice.
Woo! Yeah.
yeah. So and that's what he said
God
with
Almighty.
Fortunato, and Stephen was like, "Oh man, do you understand the name that would have been on the basketball court? The nicknames he would have carried over that." But no, but anyway, she says, "No, we need to work with this." And so what we did is I
Time
got
out.
him.
Time out. Time
Time
out.
out.
Time out.
What's
Time
happening?
out. Time out. You are in violation.
You, you have no right to name no more children.
Well,
Exactly.
but you say, well, actually, you're saying it's the uniqueness of it, the uniqueness of it, and when you look up, begin to find out what it means. But
All
still,
right.
nevertheless,
Oh
but nevertheless,
Lord,
but for the bowl of rice, she got down there quick and was cooking some rice.
I know she was.
I don't even know if I may have been well, that's the fastest minute rice ever made, but nevertheless, she got it done. But nevertheless, to that, Bishop, let me say the pressures of dealing um, with that as a father, young males,
Yeah.
bringing that up and to deal with them and show them a way. And I think that if it's one thing that I regret with raising my children, one thing, especially my sons, I wish I would have allowed them to see um, me in the struggle more. Me in the struggle more. We have seen some adversity that some things you do everything right, and sometimes life just falls on you. As I tell people all the time, you can do it all right. Good things happen to bad people, and bad things happen to good people. It's called life, as the saying goes. To a clock other than digital, a broke clock is right twice a day. So as I was beginning to go through tough times, I hid it from my sons. I did not want them to see me crumble. I did not want them to see me break. And there was one particular time when the pressure was so great. It was such immense pressure on my shoulders. I've never felt anything like this in all the days of my life. And I took my kids with me, and there was a place that I would just go and clear my mind, and I would just pray and talk with God. And at this time, I was going through so much. And my kids, they were, it's just something. They were being kids, and so they was more so like I think they were like 11, 8, and Stephen they're so about 3. And so I'm sitting there talking to them at this place that I would go to, and this place had a big hill. And so what my sons did is they was on a box sliding down the hill. I'm going through all this pressure and just trying to find someone to talk to, but trying to put it in the kids' way. And my son looked at me and said, "Dad, did you pray about it?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "So what you worried about?" And jumped on this box and slid down the hill. And so the point that I was making in this whole thing is I wished I would have let them see more when we go through a struggling or a hard time, because that's going to be life. And kids are going to see that. And sometimes we as parents try to shield our kids from everything, not allowing them to see it. And our
So sure
trying,
enough.
trying to help them, what we end up doing, we can hinder them, because they're going to face problems and they need to see going through a tough time. No, you don't fold. Yes, there's some times that you may fall to your knees crying, or maybe don't even know what to do, but you keep going forward. You just
Yeah.
keep going forward. And I wish I would have let them see that. So
I,
that's a very tough time there for me.
I think one of the things that's important in and that we experience is, and I was you led me into that next question. Um, you led me into that next question about that pressure. You know, I was going to ask one of you, and Minor has already talked about it a little bit. You know, what was that moment, Sanchez, where you had a moment of just immense pressure? Now, well, let me ask it another way. Did you have a moment? I know I did. It was just
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah.
Because and I think to this point, I, I maybe to my fault, even now, I am the fixer. I don't. I'm like you. I just, anybody has a problem. Hope gets on me all the time. As it pertains to Jordan or Mackenzie or any of my children. If it's got anything to do with my children, I fix it. And I think in that I think it came from the fact that my father abandoned me, abandoned my family, and I did not want to have any remnants
Amen.
of what that was.
Amen.
And so I'm like you, man. I think I never showed them. You know what I'm saying? My daughter just said the other day, and they pick at me all the time. They said, my daughter said, "You don't never cry." She said, "The only time you cry is when you with Jesus." And and I said, "Well, sweetie, I really don't have anything to cry about, but that's because whenever there's a problem, I don't get a chance to think about crying about it. My job as the pressure of a father in my
Right,
mind
right,
is,
right,
I ain't got no time to cry about this. I gotta go fix this. I
right.
gotta make this happen." So, Robert, I understand when you say that we should have showed them, but something we didn't. So,
Right.
Sanchez, you have that moment where you was like the dark moment of being a father, not the husband, because that's a whole
Right.
nother
Yeah,
Whole
conversation.
nother thing.
that's
Whole
a
nother
different
ball.
subject.
Yeah.
That's a whole different conversation. I'm just talking about being a father. And did you have that moment of being a father? Sanchez crazy.
Well, here's the thing. You don't want to let none of your kids down.
Yes.
As a father, you don't is something in you that if you can't have an answer for any problem that they bring to you, you've let them down.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. If you evaluate yourself, because your kids are uh uh uh, they are part of you, so you know majority of the stuff that they're gonna go through because they making the same mistake that you made.
Right, right,
Be
right, right,
honest with you. Be honest with you.
right.
Now, so here's the thing. Okay, now the mistake that you just made as my son, I'm not gonna give you the same answer as my father did. because he might not have made that mistake. But since I've made that mistake, let me give you the correct answer.
Right.
You feel what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So
Right.
here's the thing. Even though you give them the correct answer, they still gonna follow their heart. Because that's what our parents taught us. Follow your heart.
Yeah. I mean,
You
they
feel what
have
I'm
to
saying?
still go through the
Yeah,
triangle. You know, they still got to go through whatever that situation is. And
exactly. So,
but are you all like me as a father? You just don't want them.
Yeah, yeah. You just don't.
It's
There's
just
but
I
something.
see
but
But
when
here's,
you're
here's the
grown.
thing. Here's the thing. We don't want them to go through what we went through.
right,
But if they don't go through nothing,
Yeah, yeah,
they gonna
yeah,
suffer.
yeah, yeah.
they're gonna perish
You're gonna. Yep.
They gonna
Yep.
regardless.
Gotta let them.
So here's the thing: as long as we are there while they're going through,
Yeah.
then we can help them, we can guide them. But
right.
see, sometimes the stuff that we went through, we had nobody to guide us. We just say, hey, learn as we go. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
So
so then
here's the thing. If my daughter, that's my first child. If she say, Dad, I'm going through this. I ain't never went through that as a female. But she came to me as a person, as her
right,
father, looking for an answer.
right. Do
I
you
gotta give her something.
yes,
And
yes,
see if I don't give her nothing, she gonna be like, well, I didn't want to go to mom. Not saying that can't give her an answer. Not saying that, but she looked for me because we had that bond at the beginning. You feel what I'm saying?
yeah. Do you all think we overcompensate for what we did not get
Amen. Yeah.
as
Exactly. I
sons?
think
That's
that's what it is.
a
That's what it is.
plus.
That's what it is.
That we did because we didn't get the generation of our fathers,
Hmm.
okay,
Right, right.
did, didn't give us hugs and didn't sit us down. And I think
Not that they didn't want to.
no, they weren't taught that way. Their father.
Right, right. That's it.
And I think we're in this generation where we wanted to communicate more. We wanted one of the things I shared with Jordan that I don't know if he ever got it. I said, look, if you don't learn anything, learn how to listen and learn. Y'all gonna trip out when I tell you this. Learn how to listen and learn how to hug. You must be able to embrace the moment. And that's hugging a woman or hugging your problem because you can't run from any of it. It's gonna
But
get you in the
but you
end.
know what? You know what though? It's the social media that got them confused.
Now I agree with that. Now that
But
that's a
How to hug the right person.
yeah,
but I
You
think there's
feel what I'm
something else.
saying? Because this
yeah.
social media is so open where nobody's teaching structure.
Now that's true. That's true.
Nobody's
You,
teaching structure on
you,
social media. It's
yeah,
it's it's go as you go.
yeah. Now
And
you
that's
gonna
not right. You know what I'm saying? Because right is right. My mom and dad told me right is right and wrong is wrong. You feel what
well
I'm
we
saying?
well we know
Right is
that
right and wrong.
that's being redefined right now.
Yeah. What is
Exactly.
it?
But if you look at it, if you go to the Bible, when we go to Sodom and Gomorrah,
There's a right way and a wrong way.
it's a right way and a wrong way in there. That it shows you, hey, this is not right, this is not wrong. But God said, hey, Jesus said, hey, I'm going to tear all this down because ain't none of this right in there. None of it.
But I think
You
one
feel
thing
what
that
I'm
we
saying? I'm being honest. None of it's right in there. So you get your people out, and I'm
Now,
gonna make sure.
but is there a pressure? So I come to you, Dr. Minor. Is
yeah
there a pressure that you still feel to provide the structure, to provide the example? Because I think you were on to something in that we want them to not experience it. And I think we, I think we, do you feel like we've messed up to
No,
some
no,
degree?
I think what we have to acknowledge is what Sanchez was saying, and that is this is a new era. This is a new day. We didn't care, we grew up with lack. And so by having lack, it was nothing. Matter of fact, we made games of it. We would have the ratting contest, and when you begin to rat on one another, you find everything that you can do to really, if you would, bring that person down. But actually, what we were doing was building a Teflon about that person. So you can't, as I told my wife many times, you can't take my self esteem. My mama took that when I was little. So my thing is, I'm good. I can handle whatever comes against me. But this day and time, we live in a new era. And social media, it matters to a kids the likes that they receive, and how can you bully somebody and they online? How are you gonna bully me? I just turn you off. And so the problem that we're looking at is how do you deal with your kid in this era because they are here whether you like it or not. And so to be able to walk them through it, to let them be able to hear the criticism that someone give you and really look at it. Look at it. And if it fits, make a change. If it doesn't, we'll keep it moving. And so in this day and time with the social media, as they say, you can have doctrine coming in right up under your nose. A kid can be sitting right there beside you in a car, and they're on social media, and you can have a predator trying to snatch them out. You can have all these things going on. So it behooves us to know these things so we can sit down with our kids and say, okay, this is what they're saying, but son or daughter, this is why this doesn't work. As we said, I say to the kids, y'all have all of the answers and haven't read any of the questions. And so in life, we have to sit down with them and say, okay, let's look at the question. And then let's go to the answer. I'm not going to take what you feel or what you see about it, but let's see if we can look at it another way. And so to have that interaction, to talk with them, you're going to need it because it really matters to them, the likes that they receive on their social media page, how many follows them, and things of that sort. So that really matters. To us, we can care less. But to them, it really matters because you can have that bully now right there with them, as they say, the troll, and it's constantly going after them and get a couple of more people, and all of them get together and begin to harass or what have your kid. And sometimes you see these things, or you see something bad, or someone put some things out there. We see it on the news now. Parents going into schools fighting with the kids because someone said something to a kid. As Sanchez was saying, we're going to have to, teach these kids there's a different way. There's a better way, son. Let's look at this and let's walk through this together. And so I think that's necessary.
What did you all do differently um, that your fathers or parents didn't do when you had your children? Can you go back? Let's just name three things, and I'll start. Like for instance, I allowed my son when Jordan got 13, 14. I allowed him. I allowed us to have arguments. You couldn't do that with my parents. I
Right.
allowed him to express himself. I wanted him to know how to argue a point. Um, I don't know if it worked. I should have done him the way my mama did me. Shut your mouth. I should have knocked him over into the bushes somewhere. But I
Uh,
but I I changed that. With my daughter. My daughter literally changed how I approached life and love. My daughter did that because I go at it a different way with her.
right.
Uh, because I am like my main focus. My main focus is now, as being a little older, is making sure I stay healthy because I'm like you, Brother Robert. Uh, I want to, or Sanchez. Somebody, one of you said it. I need to be here to help you navigate through that, and I need to
Right.
be healthy, wealthy, and so those are things that I did differently that did not happen to me. And and it is but it's a pressure because you want viable humans. You want
Right.
them to be successful. I mean, Sanchez, you were alluding to that earlier. She's a straight A student. You
Yeah.
want that at 14, 15, 16, 17, because I know that's not what I was. You know, I was an athlete, but I
Right.
wanted more. And so, what did you guys do differently as fathers for your children that didn't happen for you? Like,
Well,
or
here's
what?
the thing. Here's the thing. When my daughter, I gave her the freedom to speak. Let me say that way, because I need to know where she is. You understand what I'm saying? So, but you can't talk to me no any kind of way, because I'm still a parent. See what's going on in this day and age. These parents are accepting any type of speech back to them. They want to be their child's friend. No, you need to be a parent before you be their friend. Because when
Yeah,
you're their parent, the friend part gonna come because it's easy to talk to. But if you just want to be their friend, then you acceptable to whatever they want to do and whatever they want to say. That's
yeah,
not
yeah,
good.
yeah,
You feel what I'm saying? So you gotta be a parent first. See, it's this day and age, it's younger parents. You
yeah,
got parents that's 20 years old, 19 years old, 18 years old. They don't know how to be parents. They
yeah.
don't know how. So you breeding somebody that, especially if you ain't been bred the right way, you breeding them to be wrong anyway. You feel what I'm saying?
Right, right, right.
So here's the thing. What my parents didn't do, they didn't allow me to voice my opinion at a certain point, to a certain point. But what I do now, especially with my oldest daughter, I allow her to voice her opinion, because if you are getting straight A's in school, then you got something to say.
Well, I
Now,
guess now is that a different approach that we all, because Rob, Dr. Miner's children are out of, you know, we have a ways to go. His children are grown, you know,
but
they're in college. So was that a tactic that you used, Dr.
For me,
Miner?
yeah,
Yeah,
well, from
to
yeah,
help.
definitely with
Yeah,
my kids.
Sanchez oldest is 14. So
but
you know, we both kind of got to go. I mean, Jordan is 25, 26, but we kind of got to go where you've been.
Right.
but
So
it's all about how you watch them grow up too.
yeah,
You
yeah,
see what I'm saying? So
but there are
you cannot say, okay, she gonna be this way, this age.
right,
No,
right,
you gotta breed that.
right. But and that's what I'm saying. Are there strategies? Because what's happening is there is a way that we were taught, and we learned to be okay. You know, we're
Right.
okay, but are there different strategies that we can learn from other people to apply
Yes,
to
it
our
is.
children? And so that's why I was asking Dr. Miner,
Here's
because
here's the, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Be in their life.
certainly,
You
certainly,
feel what I'm saying? Now, when our parents was coming up, all they knew was work, take care of our kids. Work, take care of our kids. But now I've learned how to work, take care of my kids, and watch.
okay,
You feel what I'm
good,
saying?
good,
Because every what I want to say, season or time, every season or time changes.
certainly,
So if when we grew up, it's a different time, but they got a different time. So now okay. I'm gonna watch you. I'm gonna work with you, but I'm gonna take care of you at the same time. But I'm gonna watch what you do, and I'm gonna watch who you hang around. Because here's the thing: manipulation is everywhere. Is no getting around that.
Certainly.
You feel what I'm saying? Manipulation is everywhere. It could be in school. It could be online.
Yeah.
See, social media has a lot to do with our control of our kids these days.
Yeah,
Cause they that
but it
go ahead,
was
go
the
ahead.
same way for us. It was just in a different measure. It was,
Right.
our parents made sure that I mean, we didn't have no social media, but they still managed
Yeah,
to
but here's the thing.
to
You
monitor that.
got you yeah, but you're not now. Everything is on social media. Sex,
Yeah,
drugs, everything is on social media. So, but if you don't pay attention to what your child is like, my kid. I'm gonna give you an example of my house. My house. My boys got iPods. My daughter got a phone. I check their phone every week. If you don't check your children of what they're doing, they can be doing. That's why you have these bombers, these people creating bombs and stuff. Because why? The parents like they ain't bother me. Yeah, they ain't bother you, but they building something. You can't do that just because they. When I get scared when my kids don't call my name, that makes me nervous. Because here's the thing. Okay, you in your room quiet? No, something ain't right. Let me check and see what you're doing. You feel what I'm saying? Because I want to know in every step. I'm not racist. I'm not. I'm far from racist. I'm a military man. I got white friends and everything. But a lot of these white kids have been building bombs, and them parents ain't watching nothing. This little boy done built a bomb in your room, in your house, and you ain't suspect nothing. He
Yeah,
ain't talk to you about. Come on now. If you ain't talking to your child, then you a bad parent because you supposed to talk to your child. I don't care if he's saying, "Hey, how you doing? How was your day?"
yeah.
You feel
Be
what I'm
involved.
saying?
Yeah, be
And
involved.
that be involved. If
Yeah,
you don't be involved, they can be involved with something different than you don't even know about. Because if you think about it, a lot of parents this our age, they're not in social media. Some are, but not, a lot of them not. And they don't know Instagram, what is it, TikTok. I don't know
TikTok.
half this stuff. It what's the other one? Yeah, Snapchat and all that. But I don't know half that stuff. But here's the thing. I told my daughter you can't get on Snapchat. Here's the thing, I'm not being a bad father, but I'm like, you can't be on Snapchat, you can't be on Facebook, and you can't be on Instagram
Now,
right now.
now
Not right
is
now.
that but is that because you feel a certain pressure? So because this is what this is about tonight. You know what I'm
Right?
saying? This is about are you that restrictive because you feel pressure to produce an active person, or you feel the pressure to stay active in their lives? Is that
No.
a pressure?
It's a pressure of me being a parent going against social media.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. I mean,
You feel
I'm
what I'm
with you.
saying? Because
But
here's the thing. I'm trying to teach them. I'm trying to teach her the right way. Now, don't get me wrong. I trust her. I trust her because she's proven me to me as a father and as a daughter that she's trustworthy because she's the one that helped my children, both my boys out during their pandemic uh, remote
right,
learning. She's
right.
made sure they did their homework while we at work. Now, cause I can't say about nobody else because we didn't have other people that can help out, but she was the one. She
Right.
helped doing pandemic homework, remote learning, and all that stuff. Both of my boys passed. I'm talking about not with uh D's and B's, but C's and B's and A's. You feel what I'm saying?
Certainly.
And she committed to have a straight A average.
Right.
You
So,
feel what I'm
Dr.
saying?
Myers, so Robert, did you do something different with your children to help get that? Because they have been, somewhat successful. I mean, at
Right?
least they
Right.
graduated. So what tactic did you utilize as well during your time to be able to help as a father? And is it a pressure to make sure that you produce? Because
Yeah,
I will say something about it in a minute as it pertains to my son. Go ahead.
yeah. One thing about it, I was different from my dad. One, I was approachable. Back then, we wasn't approachable to our dads. It's just what they said, and that's just what it was. You had no say so in the matter.
That's right.
And so, allowing my kids to be approachable, and then was able to be engaging with them. Engaging meaning we may go for a ride and let's talk. And many times I have a saying, and I stick to it all the time when you're with your kids. God has given you two ears and one mouth. You should listen twice as much as you talk. And so I just let them talk. And if you just let them talk about what they're going through, you will hear what it is they're going through. And so that's one thing that a difference from my father's generation and my generation. We had it to where our kids felt like we were approachable. Some dads were so standoffish, it's like you cannot say anything to them. You cannot go close to them at all because you didn't know if you were going to be struck by a bolt of lightning or what have you. So to be able to have that relationship to where my kids were able to come to me and talk to me about anything. And I told them, I don't care what you have done. I don't care how bad it is. I don't care how good it is. It doesn't matter. When you talk to me, regardless of the situation, I'm going to love you. Dad loves you. The bottom line is when it's all said and done, I love you. And so my kids, they really gravitated towards that, and they were able to come to me and talk with me about some very, very things that were very intimate and very important to them. And so I would sit down and listen to it. And regardless sometimes how crazy I thought some of the stuff was that they were saying, my wife will always tell me, Robert, watch your face. You know, sometimes kids are reading everything about you. And if you make the slightest look with your face or eyebrow go a certain way, they cut off. And see, you don't want that. You want to keep the lines of communication open because God forbid, but you find out and you go in the room and find out the kid has hung themselves or killed themselves, and you look at what it was and you're crying, you're distraught, you're tore apart, and you're saying, why didn't they just talk to me? But you never gave them that opportunity, or you belittled their feelings when they came to you. So I do everything that I can to make sure my face, my countenance stay even killed, and I listen to them, and I always ask them, you know, in the conversation, could you have done it different? What would you have done different if you could? Always give them that opportunity to have that power to say, it's my choice. I made it, good or bad. As I tell them all the time, life is choice driven. You live and you die by the choices you make. So please choose wisely. And so that's one thing that my generation, our fathers didn't do, at least mine didn't, sit down and give me that advice, talk with me like that, and then to be able to sit and then listen. Listen. Now, in his latter years, he did. The very latter years, he did, but coming up. So I did that with my kids, and I have a very, very close relationship. Even to this day, all of them will give me a call. It's it's amazing. I mean, sometimes you'll look and you know, the phone call comes in and I'm talking to one and I talk them off the ledge or whatever they're going through in life. And as soon as I hang up, it's a beep and the other one comes through and it's countless hours. But I tell them this, and I would advise, and you guys probably already do this. And Sanchez, his kids are much younger, but I tell my kids, I don't care what time of night it is. It doesn't matter to me. Just give me a second to get out of the room because I don't want to talk with them in there with mom sleep. I just say, just give me that moment to get to someone where I can talk with you. And if we need to talk for the next 10 hours, count on it. Dad's going to be right here and I'm going to go through it with you. It doesn't matter what it is you're facing or going through because it's amazing. Like they just kids not built with the stuff that we were built with, and so therefore, things that we will let brush off our back can be so much of a burden to them that it's sad to say, but to this generation, suicide is a very real option. Now, thank God I have not had to deal with any of that. My kids, God has blessed them. They have been very good, never been in any trouble with the law. Um, out there outside babies all over the place, nope, none of that. Drugs, nope. Selling, using, none of that. None of those things. I thank God I've never had to deal with any of that. Never has been reported to me that they have that. But letting go more so with them and say, okay, I have to let you go and let you grow. And so that's with me. I wish my father would have done more with me growing up. Just hearing me a little more. We just learned to that's what they said, and that's what it is. You had no opinion. And so that's just what it was. And we respected them. We did that. And as you were saying, Bishop Williams, you gave Jordan a little more space to express his opinion. We didn't have that. You told mama what you felt or came out of your mouth sideways, and you liable to find a canned good across your head, or you about to go find some fronts because you got to pick your teeth up. That's just what it was. And so and it was that way. I mean, it's just a different era. If we called the police on our parents when we were growing up, the police will come with sirens blazing, and they will come up to your parents' house and bring them the official belt of North Carolina. Here, whoop his tail with this. But kids today, they can call the police for anything. And that's a weapon that they have that they use and not knowing the danger of it. And so many parents are so scared to talk with their kid, to discipline their kids, to tell their kids no, and that's just a terrible road that they're going down. So
Yeah, I when we gave our children this thing, and I went on this new philosophical thing. I want to be a great father, great dad, da 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 da. And Jordan has all of these ideas now, and I don't know if I agree with those ideas, the philosophies that he's come up with. And so sometimes I feel like, you know what, I should have just did you like my mama did me.
but
Just,
we turned out good. We turned out good though, bitch. And that's the
yeah,
thing
because
about it. Yeah.
because we turned out good. But you have to give them the space. I done put that boy through college, and he found music. And so if I had known that, I wouldn't have sent him to NC State. I'd have sent him to a music school. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he didn't find his passion until later. And it was that understanding. And I think that overcompensation as a father to want to make sure that you have done a good job. So to you both, I want to make sure that I'm there, that I'm heard, that that I'm doing the right thing. Denise says, Bishop, can you all talk about what to do to help prepare kids for the adult world, such as finances and things like that? Sure, because I think that becomes a thing. We are so concerned about. Put us all up. We're so concerned about the emotional state of the child, but what I don't know if I'm going back to your first question or your first statement, Dr. Miner. I think we hid the struggle and we didn't teach them about finances. Like Jordan learned finances probably going into high school and the latter part of high school. And I still don't think he got it while he was in college. Why? Because I was still being this father, feeling this pressure to make sure he didn't have that as an issue. I wanted
Right.
to make sure his emotions were set, that he didn't have to worry. And I think to some degree, I didn't do well in that particular area. Does that make sense?
Plenty of
No,
sense.
be honest with you, I think it makes sense because at the end of the day, they still gotta figure it out for themselves. Here's
But you're
here's
gonna
the
have to put
thing.
them on the
Here's the
right
thing.
road.
Here's
You're
the
gonna have to
thing.
put them on the
Here's the
right
thing.
road. If you don't, you're gonna have a
Oh,
problem.
here's
Yeah,
the thing. I'm
we
not
got
trying
to
to.
put them. We got to
I'm
put them
not.
on that right road of that
Yeah,
finance.
I'm not knocking against neither one of you all. But if we teach our kids at home, because everything starts from the house.
I agree.
Everything starts from the house. We can't we can't depend on the school to teach them. We can't just depend on somebody off the street to teach them. If we teach our children from the house
Yeah.
what we missed, you feel what I'm saying? What we missed. Now, here's the thing. My father never had a bank account. Never.
Wow.
But when I had to go to the army, I had to have a bank account so my money can go straight into that account.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So now I told my dad, I said, man, look, man, this is what happening. Whenever I get paid, it goes to this account. Now all he know when he get paid, he take a check to a bank, he cash it, and he got the money. You feel what I'm saying? So when I went to the when I told him this is what I did, he it's been over 10 years, but he finally got a bank account. You feel what I'm saying? He finally got a bank account. He old school. All he know is if I can see it, I know it's there.
Right.
Right.
Well, see,
You feel
but
what I'm
like what
saying?
but like what she's saying, like what Dr. Martin is saying, is that we now have to prepare them. Like for instance, it's moving from just having a bank account now. It's moving now to cryptocurrency.
Right.
Man,
Yeah.
they got
Right. Right.
cryptocurrency. It's if you're going to be successful, Jordan and I get into these dialogues all the time, and here is a consistent pressure. We talk about the black and white issue, and let's say what happened with Tulsa, and the people didn't get the money, right? And nobody, the descendants, he sent me that, and I wrote back to him, I text back to him, I said, this is why we have to become successful, because if you make 50 million, if you make 100 million, then you can give back. You cannot wait for society to do that. The game has changed, and I don't think. Well, you know what? I didn't know, so I couldn't teach him what I didn't know. I had to find out about the way to make money. Guess what? The way to make money is through investment, through saving, through owning your own business. For years, I invest. I ain't have no money to invest because I started behind the eight ball. I, we scared of the stock market. Ain't put my money up there. I'm gonna sow my seed and let God give it back to me. Let the Lord give it. But
Okay, can I ask you this? Can I ask you this?
but I gotta teach McKenzie. I
Let
can't
me ask you.
teach
Let
McKenzie
me
just
ask you this.
right.
Let me ask you this. Is it the church fault?
No, and I think what you know, it starts at home. You're going to have to, as you say, start at home. But one thing we have to do when it comes to finances, you're going to have to teach your kid, as the Bible tells you, train them up in the way that they should go. So back in the day when we definitely African Americans, we are the highest consuming people there are. You have the name brand. This costs $200 for these sneakers. While we were buying all of the top name sneakers, young Caucasian boys was having 401ks back then. They had IRA accounts and
That's
things of
right.
that sort. And so we never, ever, ever taught our kids. They don't know. They didn't know what a 401k or an IRA. They don't know what the stock market is. It's just a bunch of lines squiggling to them. But you can see, and even to this day on my job, I see the guys as we go to the break room. They would immediately, all of them have their phones and they're all looking at the stock market and they get, I just sold, it just made $800. I bought this stock, I sold this stock, I made $800 today. And so over and over, they are learning things with a value, but we have been taught right then. We look at our dream. It's going to be the NBA, the NFL, and I'm gonna make millions, and I'm gonna get me a SUV with some 44-inch wheels and a TV in the floor. That's and that's what we have been shown. That's what we have been taught, and so it goes back to what Brother Sanchez was saying in that you have to sit them down and explain to them. Okay, you made $1. Save 50 cents, son. See, this is the way we teach our kids. This is the way we taught our kids. I don't care what comes or goes. This is what we taught them. This is not something that they just heard us say, but they saw us do. We take God's out first. It doesn't matter. Even with our business that we had, and I'm gonna stay on course, but I don't just veer off a tad bit. But the business that we had, the amount of money that we had coming in, we were told, well, no, you don't pay your employees like that and take care of your business like that. Now, what you do is you put yours up because this ain't gonna last forever. But we had a mandate from God that we had to do, and so we did it God's way. Now, to no fault of our own, this thing came to a screeching halt, and everything was gone. But you know what we can say? We honor God every step of the way, and we did what we were supposed to do. So what I teach my kids is take God's out first. Let him, he is the source. Everything else we have is just a resource. So take God's out first. Now, save you something. And one way we taught our kids this quickly. My wife and I, one Christmas, we gave them money for Christmas. And I think it was like maybe like $200. And we put it in fives and tens and ones. So it felt like they had just plenty of money. I mean, just bukus of money they had. It's just $200. And my son, he was out, he was purchasing and buying everything you want to buy. Man, he was balling. He went and bought a diamond for I think it was like $25, and this pendant had like 40 diamonds, and he told me all of them was real. And I said, okay, son, you get your real diamonds. And so as he went on, and I went up in his room as his money dwindled away. I went up in his room and I saw his diamonds laying in the floor. And I said, get your diamonds up, son. You know, you got your diamonds laying all over the place. But he realized when his money was gone and his brothers and them hadn't wasted their money that way, it was amazing that he started bartering with his brothers. Okay, I will sell you my old socks for $2. And so he was beginning to learn, I have to make some money. I have to make money here. And my daughter, all of them, she got it well, better than all of the boys. Usually girls move faster with that. But they learned this. They put God's aside and then they start, make some wise decisions with that which you have. But the thing that we have is we purchase when we bought up because your status was what you wore or what you had on, the shoes, the jewelry, whatever. But they then, meaning Caucasian kids being they was having money already for their mothers was putting 401ks or already taking care of them. Their parents were taking care of them in that. So we have to teach our kids that because that is the way it's going. You're going to have to learn cryptocurrency, how it works, because it's going that way, whether you like it or not. Brick and mortar buildings are going in with a pocket full of money. Well, you can find out right now that ain't going to work too well. Not in this day and time. Because a lot of places, some places won't even take cash.
You telling the truth. Listen, y'all not even gonna believe this. This session, we are already finished. Are you kidding me? Listen, all right, I gotta stop right here. Listen, so here is what I want to talk about. And I'll let you go. Let's do it real short. What is the pleasure that you found as being a father? Give me two things that you find pleasurable about being a father. Not just the pain, because we kind of know what the pressure is. We want good kids. We want smart. We
Right.
want wonderful, thriving community kids and this is how I say it. And I tell it to Jordan. What I want is for you to send me some of that monteith. I need you to send me monteith back. And so I need a contract out of you. I want you to be successful and stay out of trouble, stay out of jail, stay off drugs, right? But what is it that you find pleasurable as being a father?
Well, peace,
Oh, that's interesting.
peace. Because if you raise your children right, that's peace. Because you know they're going in the right direction.
That's a good
You feel
answer.
what I'm saying? So I
I,
mean, I don't have some people. So I've seen people watch their kids or whatever, and they get fed up with their kids easily. I'm like, why is your kid giving you so much headache? Because that's your child.
yeah.
So why not why just let the child be a child? See, that's our problem as a parent. When a certain child get a certain age, we want them to be a certain way instead of being a child.
I, I'm I'm gonna talk to you about this. I'm gonna have it on another podcast, but
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you what the problem is, Sanchez. You know what the problem is? That that child is starting to act like the other parent, and the one parent is mad that the child is starting to act like that other child, act like the part of the parent, the part of the mate that they don't like, and so they lash out at the
Well,
child.
okay. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
That's a whole
What if?
nother
Yeah,
conversation
I
Yeah,
for
was
it,
about
it,
to say,
another day.
it,
don't
it,
take
it,
away from
but
that,
what
Bishop.
if the
I stayed away
child?
from that, Bishop.
What
I
if the
stayed away from that
child
totally.
acting like a child?
Yeah, it could be, but no child. You ready for this? No
Okay.
child. Everybody acts like 50% of the two people that got him here.
You're
Because
right.
you're a member
But
of 50% of that DNA. So
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Hold on,
is
hold on, hold on.
different.
Here's the thing. Yeah, they act like that one part of that parent or one
That's
child
right.
parent. But if that parent acting like a child when they was a child,
Then you
how
got a
can you
mess.
be mad?
You got a mess. I'm just
Exactly.
leaving it there. Leaving it there.
Exactly.
Robert, go ahead,
Let
Minor.
me say to
You
me,
know?
to your question, to the two questions. One, the main thing is to see they got it.
Yeah,
All of the hard work, all of the time, everything that you sold into them to see they got it. And those two things that I see with my kids is one, they're not a burden on society, but they are productive and they are an asset to society. To see my sons or my daughter to way they're talking with their friends, and their friends did not have some of their friends that did not have the pleasure that they had of having two parents there to guide them through this thing. They can sit down and talk them off the ledge, and it's so funny or kind of hilarious. My son sometimes they'll call me and say, "Dad, I sound just like you," talking to my friends and things of that sort. So to see that they got it, that right there to me is everything. Okay, if I died, I know they're okay. They can do this. They're okay. They can make it. So one to see that they got it, and looking at them starting life, branching out, beginning to see now the mushroom has gone out a little further. Our kids, one stays in Atlanta, one is in Norfolk, one down in Charlotte, one's here. So, to be able to see all of them as they're going out, starting their life, and they're looking at, I think for me, the pleasure is, I really believe that they had sound doctrine and sound instructions to be productive citizens to society, even the society that they live in. They know I can't say everything that I feel because hostility only invites hostility. So how you say a thing really, really matters. It's not what you say, but it's how you say what you say. Is what I've taught them. So you can go on with the argument, the scorched earth, or you can say, okay, let's see how we can come together and reason with this thing and get something done. So that's to me. That's my thing. That's just
TV.
to see they got it. So that's just me.
Yeah, TV.
I love
Yeah,
it.
TV.
Listen, I am excited, and I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Look, we could have covered. We
Yeah.
got so much more that we could cover. Hey, who is that? What's his name?
Let's say my name's Tyson.
What's his name?
Tyson.
Tyson. Hey, Tyson. Listen, I'm so grateful for you guys to be able to take time of your busy schedule. Look, we are fathers. We love our children. We have pleasures. We have pressures. We did not get into this, but please, ma'am, and please, sir, please, child, please, wife, when y'all thinking about gifts, just when you got at least a good man that's a good father.
T-shirt.
T-shirt.
Think of us on
Uh,
Father's Day with
That's
a
all
good
they give us a T-shirt, man.
if you got a man that's a good father, please do what you need to do and support him and understand that even though we don't say it, even though we may not wear it, we are constantly feeling some level of pressure, but we get the pleasure out of seeing our children grow and develop. Uh, One thing I can say about the three of us, the three of us, really, honestly, we love God. We really do, right? And we really do love our family. We really do love the institution of family, wife, children. We want to be the best men that we can be. It just comes with a little pressure. We do not have the blueprint. We wish we did. We're learning it as we go along. And we thank you all so much for joining us. Somebody said, Sanchez, Robin said, Sanchez, stop it. You get more than a t-shirt. Hallelujah. Listen, Renata, we praying for you. We see what you're dealing with.
Pray for me.
Donna, we're not quite sure on what end.
But
Maybe we need to
hey,
be.
I want to say this before we leave, Bishop Williams. I really thank you for this platform, sir. I never met you, but you got a lot of wisdom, and I appreciate your platform on this podcast, and I thank each and every one of you as men. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't give each other credit.
Right.
We never, the men never get credit to what they supposed to. Be honest, I'm just being honest.
Yeah, and
So
and 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 I am so grateful for you both, and I really want to tell you both, man, I'm proud of you. I've watched each of you, and I've watched you on different levels for us doing what we're doing, and I appreciate. I saw James Lyons on here. God, if I had thought about it, man, James, I got to get you on here. We got to talk about it. Jo, we got to talk about something. I'm gonna hit you on the Facebook, man, because you are somebody else I would love to have a behind the veil moment with, because he's such a talented and brilliant person in the arts. But it is so much. I thank you all. I thank you both, man. And I am so proud. Listen, y'all join me next week for a wonderful thing. We're getting ready to talk about what you don't know, the infrastructure and the laws that America has put on us as Black people. I'm going to give you a small taste, Dr. Minor. There's a reason. There's a reason. This is going to happen next week. There's a reason why most African Americans are in the east part of town. Are y'all ready, Sanchez? You ready?
yes,
Robert Maumer? Guess what? During the industrial revolution, the wind blows southeast. And so the smoke from the wind, they put the African American on the east and the
I
southern
remember
part,
that. Yes, sir.
so
Yes,
that the
sir.
wind
Yes,
from
sir.
the factories would blow and cause all kinds of diseases. And so when we
Yeah.
start talking about infrastructure, y'all be careful. Biden is wanting to give us all this money, but we're going to learn something behind the veil. We more than just church
There
and
you
economy.
go.
We got to
Thank you.
learn how they use the infrastructure road system to divide the African American and make sure that our part is just smaller and smaller and smaller. And so that's next week's conversation. Y'all, please join me. What do you know? I don't think you know the effects of infrastructure. And y'all ready for this? It was an
Yeah.
absolute law on the books until the late 1970s to the early 80s that if Black people moved into a white community, it automatically meant depreciation, which is why they wouldn't let you move to the white part of town. And that's where we can't break in, or why we couldn't break in. It was an actual law. So
That's why
let's
they don't.
learn more than just Jesus is a way maker. That's what
That's
we
why they
hear.
don't like me right now.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. We're here to learn this stuff. Thank you, men, for hanging out with me. Listen, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Days to you both. Dad 3, Dad 4, Dad 2. I ain't got the 2 of them. And we just gonna do the best that we can. I love you guys.
I
I
love
thank you
y'all, man.
so much.
Love you.
Y'all
Much
two
love
stay
for
on.
you. Much love
Y'all
for you.
two stay on. Don't you go nowhere. We going out this way. I'm Stephen Williams. They call me the good bishop. I want to thank you for joining me behind the veil with my special guests, Sanchez Straight, Senior, and Robert, no middle name because they was broke, pastor of Firm Foundation Outreach Ministry in Curtisville, North Carolina. I love you guys. Thank you
Love you,
all
Bishop.
again.
Love you, my friend.
See la sister. God bless you all. I appreciate you. Until our next appointed time,
You wanna get up here and do
trust
that?
God, and He gonna do it for you. I love you. Stephen
There you
Williams
go.
on here behind the veil. They call me the good
Yeah.
bishop. And if you don't worship, God will turn it around for you. I gotta go. Bye, y'all.